I suppose this is a confession, though I'm not sure to whom. New Year's Day at my mother's house in Geelong has always followed the same choreography. Late breakfast, too much Prosecco. A careful stack of presents placed under the artificial tree she refuses to take down until January 2nd, because she believes shouldn't be rushed. I almost didn't go this year. I moved to Sydney 3 years ago. I left the family accounting firm. I stopped attending church. I built a graphic design business that my mother calls a phase. My sister Lauren stayed. Married, children. Mortgaged 2 streets from mum. I knew my role when I walked through the door that morning, the stray one. The experiment that didn't work. Everything looked warm enough on the surface. My nephew climbed into my lap. My mother kissed my cheek with polite enthusiasm. Lauren asked about Sydney in the tone people use for weather reports. When it was time for presents, Mum clapped her hands like she used to when we were children. Names were called one by one. Lauren received a gold bracelet. The kids tore into toy boxes. Even Lauren's husband got an envelope with tickets to a cricket match. I smiled. I waited. The pile shrank until only ribbon scraps remained. Mum dusted her hands together as if finishing a task. I honestly thought there had been a mistake. Is there one for me? I asked, gently. The room didn't freeze, it softened. That was worse, me steadily, not confused, not apologetic. Why bother spending on you? She said. You've always been the one who strayed from our path. It wasn't loud, it didn't need to be. Lauren let out a small chuckle from the sofa. Now you get it, she added. You're not really on our level anymore. I don't remember standing up. I remember the weight in my chest, not anger, not even humiliation. Recognition. The gifts had never been about objects. They were proof of inclusion. And I had just been formally excluded. I smiled because anything else would have required explaining myself. And I was tired of explaining myself. Happy New Year, I said. I left before lunch. The drive back toward Melbourne felt longer than usual. I replayed the moment over and over. Searching for exaggeration. There wasn't any. They had meant it. That night, I opened my laptop at my apartment and pulled up a folder I hadn't touched in months. When my grandmother died 2 years earlier, she had appointed me executor of her will. Not because I was the eldest. Not because I was the most obedient. But because during her last 18 months, after Lauren said she was too busy, and Mum claimed hospitals made her anxious, I had been the driving back and forth from Sydney on weekends. I had managed her medications, sat through oncology appointments, paid small bills from my own account when her pension was delayed. Grandma noticed things quietly. The will had been read informally at the time. Everyone assumed assets would be divided evenly once probate was initiated. I had delayed the formal process because I didn't want to cause friction. New Year's Day changed that calculation. It wasn't revenge. It was clarity. I emailed the solicitor in Melbourne the next morning. I'd like to proceed with probate. There was no drama in the response. Just timelines, fees, necessary signatures, professional language, clean structure. By afternoon, a registered courier package was prepared, certified copies of the will, a formal notice of executor authority, and documentation outlining asset distribution exactly as written. The house in Geelong would be sold. Proceeds divided as specified. And specified meant something my family had conveniently ignored. A larger percentage allocated to me for documented caregiving expenses and time. Grandma had been precise. The package arrived the following morning. I didn't witness what happened when Lauren opened it. I heard about it from Mum's voice shaking through my voicemail. She's screaming. Mum said in one message, "What is this?" In another, "You're tearing the family apart over nothing." Over nothing. 63 missed calls and messages accumulated over the next 2 days. Call us. This is extreme. Family doesn't involve lawyers. You're embarrassing us. Lauren sent a final one late at night. You planned this? No, I had postponed it. There's a difference. The solicitor handled everything formally after that. The sale was listed publicly. Deadlines were issued. Authority shifted from emotional persuasion to legal procedure. It was unmistakable. Letterheads, signatures, enforceable clauses. No one could laugh that away. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post cryptic quotes online. I didn't respond to the messages, I did something else instead. I visited Grandma's grave the following weekend and told her, quietly, that I understood. She hadn't rewarded obedience, she had acknowledged presence. The house sold in autumn. Funds were distributed exactly as instructed. Mum stopped calling once it became clear the process wouldn't bend. Lauren hasn't spoken to me since. I moved apartments in Sydney last month. Smaller, brighter. I placed Grandma's old watch on the kitchen shelf where I can see it in the morning light. Sometimes I replay that New Year's scene. I wonder if I should have argued. Cried. Demanded an apology. But exclusion clarified something years of subtle comments hadn't. Belonging that depends on conformity isn't belonging. The mysterious gift wasn't punishment, it was a reminder, to them and to me, that I was never beneath them. I was simply elsewhere. And for the first time, that feels like enough.